What's up, everybody? I'm David Hain. Welcome to episode 95 of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast. I'm excited to share that we had more than 300 listens this past week. Wow, that is a new 1-week high total. And if you'd like to help us reach even more people in more countries, subscribe, follow, and share the link with your friends, or click on the support link in this episode's description. Your donation of any amount could change a life. When we come back, we'll get into this episode entitled JOY, Journey of Yourself. Welcome back to episode 95 of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast entitled JOY, Journey of Yourself. And in this one, we're going to be talking about self-care. So I want to start with a few questions. What are you focusing on in your journey of self-care, in your journey of self-improvement in this season? How will you know when you've reached your destination? What joy will you find in the midst of the journey to keep you moving forward to your destination? What do you have to do on this journey? What's the travel look like? And who do you have to travel with to encourage and support you on your journey? So a lot of thoughts, keep these in mind. It's my premise that during our years in addiction, we actually have a lifestyle of self-neglect. We ignore many of our basic needs as we're primarily focused on getting our drug of choice. I'd like to view these basic needs that we're neglecting utilizing Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Some of my background information for this episode comes from the article, What is Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs? Everything you need to know about the path towards self-actualization. This was written by Marilyn Lyles in Parade magazine in 2021. So who was Abraham Maslow? Well, he was an American psychologist in the 1900s who first introduced his theory in 1943 in a paper titled A Theory of Human Motivation. Basically, his theory presents 5 categories of needs, and it's typically presented as a pyramid with a foundational need working up to the top highest priority. And that one cannot move from one level to the next until the needs have been met at the previous level. And as I share the levels of need with you, I'd like each of you to think about how you neglected them during your time of active addiction. Okay? Here goes. The first and basic foundational need are our physiological needs. These are the needs simply for survival: air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing. So how do you do with those in your active addiction? The next level are the safety needs. This is personal security, employment, resources, health, and property. How about those? This is one where a lot of people really have neglected deeply in their active addiction. The third level is love and belonging. And this involves friendship, intimacy, family, and sense of connection. And many of these are greatly neglected and become actually an obsession to recover in our recovery. The fourth one is esteem. This is respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, and freedom. And we all know how we struggle with self-esteem in addiction and in recovery. And the final one, the highest level, is self-actualization. And this is the desire to become the most that you can be. And this is so key in recovery. So there they are. That's the 5 of them. And the most fundamental four layers, the physical needs, safety needs, love and belonging, and esteem, are what Maslow calls deficiency needs or D needs. And his premise is that if these deficiency needs are not met, we will feel anxious and tense all the time. So whenever we deprive ourselves of any of these, or our addiction deprives us, it causes this deficiency and it causes unmet needs, and we try to find other ways to fulfill these as they're being denied. So I want to ask you, can you see how you were deficient in some of these areas, and what did you do to try to fulfill them? What did you turn to numb or escape your pain of these unmet needs? And I think it's important to look at this as we look at being in our recovery, because now for joy, for J-O-Y, our journey of yourself, self-care is vital to focus on these 4D needs, the physiological, safety, love and belonging, and esteem. And we need this focus in order to be in the best shape physically, emotionally, and mentally, just to do the hard work of recovery and to ensure the success of your continued sobriety. As a matter of fact, in the Yale Journal of Biology and Medicine, it says that practicing good self-care during recovery is key to developing coping skills and preventing relapse from happening. So the more time you spend caring for yourself and paying close attention to your mind and body, the easier it will be for you to see the warning signs of emotional, mental, physical relapse and to prevent relapse from occurring. So we need to focus on self-care. It is priority number one in recovery. Substance misuse is toxic to the mind, body, and spirit, and restoring and maintaining health in all areas of our lives is a focal point of addiction recovery. So what steps can you take in self-care to offset your toxic deficit? Well, let's look first at these D needs. The first one, physiological. Well, plug in things like exercise, walking, enjoying the outdoors, healthy eating, regular sleep, personal hygiene, and paying attention to how you dress and keeping your clothes clean. And Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, and I quote, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward." And I think this is a great quote as we look at each of these steps. We just need to start walking, start crawling, just keep moving forward. The second of the D needs, again, is safety. So in our recovery, we should start having regular medical checkups, find regular employment, avoid risky neighborhoods and risky situations. An American writer, Audre Lorde, said, and I quote, "I have come to believe that caring for myself is not self-indulgent. Caring for myself is an act of survival." So I want to urge you, as you're maybe getting distracted in caring for others that you may have wounded in your addiction, don't let that distraction keep you from caring for yourself, keep you from focusing on your own safety. The third level, again, is love and belonging. And we all know how we've lost so much in our time of addiction in this area. So now it's key in recovery to choose your friends, choose your family, choose your support system, and get to an intentional level of connectedness with those people that you value in your life. And a quote from Cushion Wisdom that I really like says, Your friends should motivate and inspire you. Your circle should be well-rounded and supportive. Keep it tight. Quality over quantity, always. Can you hear that? As you establish your new circle of friends, keep it tight and look for quality, not quantity. The fourth level, esteem. Well, as we try to get our self-esteem back, you need to begin to forgive yourself, to begin to love yourself, and to give of yourself to help others. Get involved in volunteering and you'll see your self-esteem rise. American author Brené Brown says, and I quote, "Talk to yourself like you would to someone you love." I want to say that again. Talk to yourself like you would to someone you love. You should find, as you begin to find your healing and wholeness in each of these 4D need areas, you will actually be preparing yourself to be ready to begin on the top of the hierarchy of Maslow's needs, which is self-actualization. And self-actualization is one of our greatest challenges in recovery because it's working to implement the changes we envision for ourselves and holding ourselves accountable to the goals and intentions we've set for ourselves. This is where self-actualization comes in, where we dig deep and find hope, which fuels the inner motivation and drive to push ourselves to make our recovery goals a reality for ourselves. We have to push to overcome old emotions and stigma and self-doubt and comparison of others and unrealistic goals. Psychologist Dr. Lauren Cook gives us 4 steps to work on self-actualization. The first is understand what you value. So I ask you, are you redefining your core values in recovery? Work with your coach to stay focused on what you value the most. Number 2, play detective. So look for patterns of behavior in your life. Identify the ones that support and enhance your recovery and build on them. Discover the ones that are actually keeping you stuck or dragging you down and begin to eliminate them. Number 3, lean into discomfort. This is the area where we accept that recovery is hard work and that you commit to doing the hard work. Focus on the opening up of new opportunities for growth as you find healing from the obstacles of your past. And number 4, speak the truth. Simply put, stay honest with yourself and others. Share your thoughts and emotions with your support people. Remember, the more you share, the more you grow. Wow, a lot to digest in this episode. Can you see why I say this crucial area of self-care is the joy, the J-O-Y, journey of yourself. It's the journey of finding yourself, accepting and forgiving yourself, establishing stability in your life, and most importantly, finding joy in your life, in yourself, and being able to wake up each day and say, I'm fine. Today will be fine. My life is fine. And with that in mind, I'd like to close with some lyrics from Mary J. Blige's song, Just Fine. Here we go. Feel free right now. Go do what you want to do. Can't let nobody take it away from you, from me, from we. No time for moping around. Are you kidding? And no time for negative vibes, 'cause I'm winning. It's been a long week. I put in my hardest. Gonna live my life. Feels so good to get it right. So I like what I see when I'm looking at me, when I'm walking past the mirror. Don't stress through the night at a time in my life. Ain't worried about if you feel it. Got my head on straight, got my vibe right, and I ain't gonna let you kill it. You see, I wouldn't change my life. My life's just fine. Feels so good when you're doing all the things that you want to do. Get the best out of life. Treat yourself to something new. Keep your head up high. in yourself. Believe in you. Believe in me. Having a really good time. I'm not complaining, and I'm still wearing a smile if it's raining. I got to enjoy myself regardless. I appreciate life. I'm so glad that it's fine. So I like what I see when I'm looking at me, when I'm walking past the mirror. Ain't worried about you and what you gonna do. See, I won't change my life. My life's just fine. Thanks for listening to this episode of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast. If you would like to join an online group or get one-on-one counseling to help you on your journey of yourself, please message me in the link on this podcast or by email at davidfromatod@gmail.com or go to my website www.fromatod.org and click on the contact page. You can keep in touch with what we're doing in From A to D by following me on Instagram at David from A to D. Tune in Monday for our next episode, and as always, stay safe and stay strong.